that much more worth it. Mm-hmm. But if I was on a desert island somewhere and no one ever heard my music, I would still be cranking out tracks every day for me, because it helps my quality of life.
And it make you. It's like your therapy. Like it make you feel good.
Yeah, and like there are some songs that I have that I don't expect to apply to anybody. I don't want some of my life experiences for you to relate to it, because they're not that good of an experience. Mm-hmm. But if it does, damn, that's great. Like even again, like all that much more better that it also applies to you. This not as common thing, you know. So,
cause on the real, like I was like, man, like you one of the few artists that I can actually listen to your different albums and stuff like straight. Like, you know, usually I'll probably, let's say like I listen to T.I. Urban Legend. That's one of my favorite
classic,
classic. But instead of going to the ones before or the ones after, I just go to another artist and listen to like another album and stuff like that.
Okay.
Your albums is like, it's like a storytelling.
Yeah, they
it's like different stories, but it's like a continuation of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's like the story of my life in sequence. You know. So like, for example, Transit City. From the first track to the last track, there's like setup, conflict, resolution. You know, and that's why like some people, they'll sequence a project by like BPM. Oh, first you gotta get up tempo, then down tempo, then up tempo, down tempo. I don't really work that way. I'll be like, I'll start up the project with like some type of introductory topic, and then from there it kind of segues into like how would I think about like an emotion, right? Like like you man, I don't want to misspeak, bro, because like I don't want to come off like a know-it-all trying to explain something I'm not, you know. But like, if you go online, you'll look up that there's actually like an arc. There's an arc of emotion from like you're feeling kind of like in the middle, and someone says something funny, and then that makes you laugh, and then after it settles in, you feel like a little bit like I don't know, you reflect more, and then that reminds you of something else, what makes you feel kind of like not as happy, but then the comedian tells you another joke and makes you laugh again. So there's like a roller coaster that like connects one emotion to another, and it makes sense that you're connecting dots that aren't that far away from each other, and that's how I sequence my music.
That's clever, because you know we all go through different type of emotions. Like, you know, some people never realize that, you know, you go through different type of emotions like every other second, a minute, or hour. Like, it's not being bipolar or what they call that. Moody. You know, I can say moody. You know, us Capricorns, we tend to be moody at times, but I never seen that as really a negative thing. Just that
you're alive.
Yeah. So 1 minute you laughing, 1 minute you could be mad about something, one minute you could be very excited about something. It's just different types of moods.
Like, if you think about it, like some albums, a song that comes after, like the next song that plays, the listener might not be ready to feel the way that song is hoping you feel to fuck with it. So like they skip over it because it's like it kind of like sticks out in a negative way, like an outfit. You know, like, damn, that hat just doesn't complement the outfit. You know, like maybe that hat would look better with that other ensemble, but not this one. That's kind of like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's the way that I piece together my projects. Yeah,
it makes sense. What was your first song that you ever recorded?
Song?
Yeah, like first song.
My first song, bro. Damn, hold up, man. I gotta think about this real quick. Because you're talking about like high school, like before I took it seriously?
Like in general, like your first ever like song that you like recorded.
Oh, man, that's crazy, bro. Man, like I was saying, like 2000. The only person that's gonna know about this song is my girl Doris. Like she's out in Virginia. Like, but early internet, I made this song, and like I sent it to her. Until this day, she has it. I don't even have it. She has it.
And she got the exclusive.
But you're talking about like the woof, man. That's like It's a song I have called Revelations. I must have been like 19 when I made 18, probably even younger when I made it. It's like a really morbid song of like waking up and your whole family got like murdered by some guy. And you're like going through the house and seeing like you're like in the murder scene and you're like, what the fuck? But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yo, what was I going through to write a song? So, but that's what the beat called for. Like the producer that made the beat gave me the beat, and like it sounded like a scary movie, so I wrote a scary movie. You know.
So you like scary movies, or you was at the time? You made
at the time, yeah. No, I don't really be watching too many movies nowadays, man.
So what's her name?
What?
The girl who got
Doris, yeah.
Doris.
Yeah, shout out to Doris.
So I guess you gotta. Let me hear that. You gotta listen to that.
Man, like I'm sure if I were to hear that song nowadays, I'd be cringing, bro. I probably sounded underdeveloped on the mic. Whatever, nah, it's all good. You gotta learn to laugh at yourself.
So being from Miami, Florida, both of us, what's your opinion on the state of music and hip hop in general in Miami and just all over the state of Florida?
In Miami? Oh man. Okay, I'm actually glad that you asked that, but I'm not glad about having to answer honestly, because it's not flattering, you know?
No, you could answer.
No, I'm not scared about like answering, but I'm saying like unfortunately I'm gonna have to answer this question. Is what I'm saying, bro. So like I'm gonna shout out some artists that I believe are super dope, and if they keep going at it, they're gonna get their just due. Like my man Ramon Revere, who I work with frequently, Cloud9, super hard working, like just positive, dope artist. Shadi, which is like he used to be in ID4, and is like probably like one of my favorite wordsmiths, like lyrical, but like just ill with it, super dope. Mowgli, like Mowgli's one of those like he's one of those artists that you listen to him and it's like you're like playing a movie. Like it's like you enter into he takes you into his world, you know. But man, like, oh man, like I'm not to sound like I'm not trying to be politically correct, but my problem isn't with the artists, it's with the media publications that champion whack ass fools, bro. Like I'm not like, listen, man, like right now there's this whole fad with like the local scene where everyone bigs everybody else up. Yo, home team, hashtag home team. To me, that shit is fake. It's super fake.
Because you using it so when you blow up, you gonna forget, because that's how people forget.
They're just saying home team, hoping that when the guy that ends up winning shouts them out when they're at the podium, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, like, that shit is whack, bro. Like, I'm not really crazy about surface level support. Like, everyone that's been on my podcast, I really rock with them with what they got going on. But I don't actively listen to their music like I'm a fanning out on their shit, because it's not for me, but I understand that it's for somebody and they actually are cool, so I support them without consuming what they have like that. But I'll shout them out because I feel like they're deserving of a shout out, you know? But there are other artists that like I have reached out to earlier in life, you know, like yo, I see you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. It makes sense for like maybe we could like network and so, or some type of maybe like a track or just some type of camaraderie is what I was trying to build. And these guys were like mad bougie, and it's like at that point,
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, man, it's like yo, once you start getting bougie, it's like yo, you're not that tight, bro, to be acting this way,
exactly.
Man.
And you know what it is that get me? I understand that artists, they need managers and stuff like that, but it's just like for certain stuff, like, all right, for example, when I started this podcast, I already knew I'm finna be in the media. Like, you know, we in the media, we interview different people and stuff like that. So when I started reaching out, I'm like, honestly, I get more of a faster response from people out of town than from here, and it's kind of sad because, and if I do, they be like, man, talk to my manager.
And it's like, nah, bro, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, like you're not finna try me like I'm a peon or something. I'm like, no, like I want to get to know you and your story because I heard some of your music, or I heard you on another interview, and I'm like, I'm trying to open you up more. I'm like, I just never get it. Like, it's a few artists that I know personally that I went to school with that, you know, their music is straight, but it's like they acting like they these superstars. I'm like, you gotta humble yourself.
Yeah, man. Like, listen, that's one of the reasons why I kind of disconnected from just participating in this local scene as much as I used to. Yo, bro, I used to throw shows with my ex. We used to throw shows, rent out the venue, holler at it, like, create a platform for them to perform and, like, just, like, bro, I used to put on for my city, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, like, where that got me is just a lot of just efforts that either weren't reciprocated when I felt like I could have used some support when it was my turn to like, yo, like now I got this going on. Who's gonna rock with me? And like no one really, I don't want to say no one, but definitely the far majority of people that I ever reached out to. Yeah. And it's like, yo, bro, like, okay, I threw an open mic at the hotel, right? And upcoming artists, not all of them. This is not a generalization. But a lot of upcoming artists, bro, they're like, it's only about, they consume and move on like a bacteria. Yeah. You know? Like, and I just stopped rocking with that. You know, like, I invested money in like a PA system so that I could perform in a record store or like at a skate shop. I can pull up with my PA system, put my banners up, and like, why would I extend my resources to people that aren't doing anything for me? Yeah. And that ended up kind of being just the whole Miami scene in general. The far majority, not all of them. Again, not all of them. You know?
It's not all of them because it's something that's very humble and very like,
and they're giving,
like
and
just like yourself. You know? I'm like, bro, like, do you realize like the what I'm trying to say, the brain fart right now. Yeah, the escalades that you can have just by your music. Like, it's just, it's different. It's storytelling. It's something that, you know, you could get a whole nother group of people. Like, for example, I'm going for my doctorate right now.
Nice.
So I'm like, your music could get these doctorates and these people that's going for their masters and stuff and these professionals. To me, honestly, that's bigger than any type of, like, you know, type of people, because honestly they know so many people. I'm like, man, you gotta check him out. This dude up.
Man, I appreciate that, bro, but like I don't have a sense of entitlement where I feel like, hey, you know, I'm aware of the type of music I make. Yeah. It's in your best interest to be my street team. Like, I used to be like that, but not anymore. I learned quickly that like that imposing on people that rock with you to do things for you, like a call to action, is a little bit obnoxious, you know? It is. I'd rather it be like, yo, man, if you want to tell your friends about it, thank you, man. And if you don't, that's okay. You know? You know how, like, on Instagram, some people will be like, yo, new song out, tag 50 people for your boy. And it's like, nah, bro, like, you know what I'm saying?
I would say it's gonna take that one person. Like, for me, like, I have a marketing company, so I don't even really ask for the money. I just, like, if you dope, I'm gonna share your album cover and stuff, or I'm gonna share this and that. And if you do holler at me for some type of deal, then cool. But then, like, it just, my thing is, I feel like Miami in general has lost that way of, like, we could have the hospitality with all these out-of-towners, but not with ourselves. If we literally had that with ourselves, there'll be so many artists coming out every 6 months. I'm not even going to say a year. Because now you notice that artists, before used to come out every about 5 to 10 years, it'd be like a couple artists. These new artists that's blowing up, you know, they bringing some of them boys with them. And, like, you see different artists coming from Miami and Broward, Palm Beach, and like up to Jacksonville and stuff like that, they kind of changing the game. That's one thing I love about these new artists, because they're like, man, I'm not selfish.